talking about assessments and how you can prep for your black belt. An assessment is to see where you're at, not to improve your counts or even to improve your strength. It's just to see where you're at the current moment. We do these assessments once every 4 weeks. So in that time frame between assessment to assessment, it's your goal to improve yourself, get yourself stronger, more flexible, make sure you have more endurance so you can improve each time. Our goal is growth, not perfection. So in our assessments, we monitor those 3 things: strength, flexibility, and endurance. We do it in a couple different ways. The first thing we start out with is push-ups. Your goal is to do as many good push-ups as you can in 60 seconds. Emphasis on good. If they're not good push-ups, they do not count. That's why we always ask that you have a partner to do this with you, because then they can monitor and let you know if you're not doing it right. So how we monitor our push-ups and how we count them is kind of specific. So how we do it is your partner should put their fist on the ground like this. Every time you do a solid push-up and your chest touches their fist, that counts as 1. If you do some bad habits, you do a bad push-up, they do not count it. Your goal is to get as many in 60 seconds. If you don't have a partner, my suggestion is grab a pillow or a hand pad to help you out with this. Let me talk about a couple of different things that would disqualify your push-up. First being bending your back or your hips. If you have your hips up in camel position or your hips down in seal position, this does not count. This does not count. Your back must be straight. Second, if my chest does not touch the pad, it does not count. So even if I get really close, but I don't touch it, that does not count as a push-up. Finally, if I'm doing bad push-up form, in 2 different ways it won't count. So, one way is by maybe putting your hands out and going like this. Not doing good push-ups, something that hurts our shoulders. Another way is not finishing our push-up, going down and then barely coming back up. You need to make sure that you extend fully on each one of your push-ups. So, how do you know you have good push-up position? Before the 60 seconds start, I always would hope you do one test. Put your hands next to the pad, or if there's a fist, I would probably tell them to move it. Drop your body down to the ground. If your elbows go back naturally, then this should be a good push-up. But if your hands are up, maybe facing in, you're not going to be able to do this and it won't feel comfortable. So always do that test before you continue. And once you do, start 60 seconds as many times as your chest hits the top of your hand. The second thing that we monitor is crunches or core strength. Now I want to make something very clear here. The thing we do to monitor core strength is an average sit-up. We do not want you to train on sit-ups while you're at home. A sit-up is a good way to monitor where your core is at in terms of strength-wise, but if you do them consistently, they can hurt your lower back. So that's why we advise you do other core strengthening exercises, other ab exercises, and then when we do our assessments on those sit-ups, it will show. If you practice your sit-ups every day, trust me, your back's going to hurt, even if you're doing really amazing form. So, first, let's talk about what that form is. So if you have a partner, that's preferred. That's preferred, first and foremost. What your partner is going to do is they're going to lock your feet down to one spot, as close to your bottom as they can get. As your feet are locked here, you're going to bring your body up and go here. It's important that you're not doing this like rocking thing to get up, because that's cheating yourself and it's not really showing what your crunch is. My suggestion is put your hands on your ears. Pretend to put a tennis ball between your chin and your chest. Lock it. Then as you come up, your elbows touch your knees before you come down. That'd be considered 1. You're going to keep doing them back and forth and your partner will count. If you need to rest, you rest in up position here. You don't rest down here. This is just laying down. You need to rest up, not down here, okay? They're going to count. Your goal is to get as many as you can in 60 seconds. If you don't have a partner to do this, it makes it a lot harder. My suggestion is to find a couch, something that you can kind of hook your feet around, something that can lock your feet in place so you can do it, and if you need to, you can adjust by moving your body in. But if you try to do it without anything, it's going to be difficult, as you can see right here. My feet are locked, so it's kind of like I'm just doing a normal crunch. One more thing when it comes to crunches, the reason why we do a sit-up and not a typical crunch is because a typical crunch, it's very easy to mess up and count. I once had a purple, green, and blue belt tell me that they did 70 crunches in 30 seconds. When I asked them to show it to me, here's what they did. Right? That's not a real crunch. Sit-ups are a very hard thing to cheat. You can kind of do the rocking thing, but it's very obvious when you're not doing the right thing, and your partner won't count it. All right. So that's how we monitor our strength, our core strength, our arm strength. Now we're going to talk about endurance. Now endurance is something that you can do on your own time. It's running a mile. Just mark when you start, mark when you end. Make sure it is a full mile and it's not half a mile that you times by 2. If you want to run 2 half miles, that's fine, but don't do a combined segment. Don't do half a mile, freeze, take a break, then run another half a mile and say, oh, I got a 4-minute mile. That's amazing. It needs to be one full length around. No bikes, no swimming. If you have bad knees, talk to your success coach on a way that you can approach the mile in a different manner. But 1 full mile for most of us. Otherwise than that, we're going to get to our last end, which is flexibility. Now on flexibility, this is a little bit harder to do if you don't have somebody helping you. So here's my suggestion. Make sure you grab a tape measure, or if you don't have a tape measure, you have a ruler, grab 2 pieces of tape. So I'm going to get started with center split. Center split. Now, my suggestion is put tape down on where you're going to put one heel. So maybe I put it here, right? And I'll move it back so you can see it. I'm going to put my heel here. Now, once my heel's here, I'm going to put my feet out and move. We measure from heel to heel. We measure from heel to heel. So, from, got my finger stuck there, from this heel to this heel. From heel to heel. Each time you improve your stretch, it makes it a bit easier, right? So if you're doing this on your own, go heel to heel. If you can, reach out, put it by your heel, and that way, once you remove, you can just measure this distance. You don't have to stay there. Obviously, if you have a partner, they could just get a tape measure and measure from heel to heel with you right then, right there. But this is a way that you can do it by yourself, or if you don't have a good tape measure, this is a way that you can monitor it with a ruler, mark and get out, so you don't have to stay in this stretch too long. So that's the first thing we measure is the center splits. Next, we're going to talk about our left front splits and our right front splits. The difference between left front and right front is where our heel lies. So we measure these by taking the back of our toe, or the farthest toe from us, to our front heel. So I know my front heel is going to be right here. I know it, I'm going to mark it. This is where I'm going to put my front heel. Now, since this foot is forward, my front heel, this is my left foot. It may be mirrored on the camera, but this is my left. This is my left front splits. And actually, to make this a bit easier, I'll monitor that this is my big toe. I think big toe is better when you do it by yourself. You can do either. So now my right's in front, and I'm going to move it out. Once my heel's all the way out, I'm going to put the tape there. Same thing as the center splits. Whoop. I'm going to measure this distance. Now left front, same thing, I'm just going to switch my feet. Big toe here, put it on the line, right heel out. And I'm going to do a lot small, not as far as I normally would, just so you can see. So I know I go this far, I mark it, then I measure. You don't need a partner for this, but trust me, reaching out to put that tape down is a lot easier than what I made it look like. That's not my full splits. I was able to do it because it's like a quarter of that. So if you have a partner, you have a tape measure, that's your easiest and best way. This is an alternative. With all that being said, that's how we monitor our assessments. Every 4 weeks, we're going to measure these exact same things and see how much we grow. Trust me when I say, if you start this today, and you do 4 assessments, and you're doing things in between these assessments, by the time you're done with candidacy, or the time you feel like you're done prepping for black belt, you'll get at least 4 or 5 inches on each one of your stretches, 30 seconds to a minute off your mile, and so much more push-ups and crunches. Just marking this down will help you improve. So with all that being said, if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments. And if you're here, I believe it is April 24th, I'm going to have a Zoom meeting today at 3:30 for you guys. I'll put the Zoom meeting code in the description as well. So if you're watching this on April 24th, 2020, there's a Zoom meeting today. If you're not watching it now, that's fine. You can leave your question in the comments, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time.